the way you approach obstacles determine how difficult that obstacle will be to overcome. Every time that we think that there's like this huge thing that like we'll never be able to get past, it's really not that huge of a thing. It's really probably just the way we're thinking about it.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 42 of the Andrew Deitch podcast. For those of you who listened to the last episode of the podcast, I am now out of the hurricane shelter, and everything's all good down here in Florida. It was definitely a learning experience, and something I don't really want to go through again. Long nights, little sleep, no power, strong winds, uncertainty, and some pretty interesting stories that I will most likely be sharing over the next few episodes. And it definitely got pretty tribal in there, as you really get to see people's true colors, for better or for worse. But I guess after it's all said and done, it's just another adventure to add to my collection of experiences and memories, I suppose. But now the adventure is over. I'm heading back to rainy Georgia, where they have been hit by the effects of Irma as well. My life choices right now are kind of hysterical. But hey, if this is your first time listening to the show, I want to welcome you and thank you for joining us. This podcast is all about having spectacular conversations with the coolest and most interesting people I know, and today is no different. Because my guest today is my amazing friend, Owen Lutz. And Owen was actually on episode 10 of the podcast already, so if you want to go pre-game for this episode, you can by going and listening to that one. But on that episode, we talk more about Owen and his life story and how he went from kind of just being a college dropout to now being a successful entrepreneur. So if that interests you, go check out that episode. But Owen's one of the happiest and funniest guys I know over the past few years. Like I said, I've seen him just develop so much. He's a digital marketer, he's a motivational speaker, and he is an awesome husband. But on this episode, we talked about, a lot of different topics, less about Owen's life per se. And if you follow me on Facebook, you could have actually already watched this episode live, since we did a Facebook Live during the whole thing. And Owen's really big on Facebook Live, but this was the first time I tried doing a Facebook Live out during a podcast. And it was a really fun episode. But this should have better audio quality than the Facebook version, since we were all mic'd up for this. But you guys get the point. And that's enough talking from me. So please give it up for my friend, Owen Lutz. Boom! We are live on the Andrew Deitch podcast.
Oh my goodness, that's so exciting.
It's very exciting. So for the listeners of the podcast in the past, or in the future, I guess, because this will be recorded in the past.
Yeah.
We're recording this live on Facebook Live.
Yep.
So what's up, people? What's up, Nick? What's up, Liz? What's up, Presh?
Oh, yeah. Hi.
Okay, cool. So we've got a bunch of people watching right now. And this is our second podcast. You were on episode 10.
What's up?
Of the Andrew Deitch podcast. And this is episode 42.
Oh, man. That's crazy. It hasn't even been that long.
Doesn't it seem like I just started this thing? Like a month ago.
You know what it seems like? It seems like it was just yesterday that you and I were trying to design the koozie shirt pocket.
This is very true.
That was our first entrepreneurial thing, like, ever. First time, like, I had ever even talked about it, but we were talking about, like, we're going to sell these koozie shirts to fraternities around the world.
Yeah.
We should still
try to do something.
We should at least try and hire somebody to build that business for us.
Yeah. If you want to help us build a koozie shirt business... Ooh, Ashley thinks it's the best idea ever, so there we go.
Yep, Ashley, let's get on that. We'll get a team together, and we'll... so it's a shirt where the pocket comes off, and it's a koozie. If you're looking to build that with us, then, you know.
So this is actually the first podcast I've done where I have a live audience right now. Like, most of the podcasts are recorded, and then they get posted later, and then people can enjoy them in the past. Or in the future. They can enjoy the past from the future.
Yep.
But it's dope because if people really want to check it out right now, they totally can. And they can comment live and give us some commentary, which is dope.
And it's also going to throw us off like crazy the whole time, which is really exciting.
Rabbit holes are like the thing of this podcast. Okay, so we've got like exactly 1 hour to do this podcast.
Oh, that's so cool.
And last time we talked, we kind of talked about how you were transitioning out of your current business and you were going to sell it, right?
Yep. Cleaning company, yeah.
Did that go through?
Yeah, we ended up getting rid of a few of the clients that we had. We sold off a couple of the people that were paying what other cleaning companies would be excited to work with, and I think it ended up being like 10 different customers that we got to refer. So we didn't do a full business sale. We just did like a what's called an add-on opportunity, where we just gave our clients to another business in exchange for a little fee, which was sweet. Good way to get out of a business and not have to spend a whole bunch of headache trying to finish all the what's the word?
Turnkey.
SOPs.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's very close. The turnkey operation of the standard operating procedures. We didn't have to like put this whole thing together and sell it and sell like employees that already know what they're doing and all that stuff. So
very nice.
So yeah, we basically just dropped that one, and now we don't scrub toilets anymore.
So now what are you guys doing?
Digital marketing for local business owners.
Very trendy.
Most trendy.
Very futuristic, though.
Yeah, so I'm happy to say that I was kind of on the front end of this whole bubble of digital marketers with my buddy Austin Distel, which I'm sure a lot of you people watching us live now know.
What's up, Austin? Hopefully you're listening to this. If you're not, it's okay.
One day he will.
There's 42 episodes of this podcast, but hopefully he really likes both of us.
Yeah, so he'll find it.
He'll probably find it.
Yeah, I was lucky enough to have seen a post that Austin put out on Facebook that said, "I'm looking for a business development guy," and so then I just said, "Man, I'm in. I'll talk to people all day. Just tell me what we're doing."
Yeah.
And he introduced me to the whole Facebook advertising, digital marketing stuff, and I got really into it. I made a lot of awesome connections. I've got some sweet guys that now kind of run the fulfillment for my agency with me, and we're really excited about signing on a couple more clients and keep on moving. And then eventually, I'll just be
totally
hanging out doing Facebook
So, like,
Lives
what kind of businesses typically are you targeting? Like, because obviously you can really niche down and get really good at like one specific business.
Yep.
Like, you could go super niche on orthodontists and really focus on helping them or whatever the case might be. Are you focusing in on like a niche, or are you just kind of like throwing everything out?
Yeah, so I'm focusing on 3 really, just because that's the thing that my fulfillment team has reassured me is like what they're here to do. Like those are it's dentists, chiropractors, and real estate agents.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Those are pretty high-paying businesses, so it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the lifetime value of each customer is a couple $1,000 or something. So getting one person to go through the process and becoming from a lead to a customer, it makes it worth it to spend some money to attract those people in.
Yeah, that kind of like high-end supercars. I'm like super into that.
Yeah.
And so like they'll do crazy stuff to try to attract customers in. Like they'll throw exclusive parties and send you free gifts and all this kind of stuff to try to like convince you that they care really about you as a customer more than like, because that's one thing is like you can buy a car, but if you believe in the company and the person, the designer, if you've met the designer of the car, you're gonna feel a lot more of a personal connection every time you drive it. Every time you grip the steering wheel, you're gonna be thinking Horatio designed the steering wheel perfectly for my fingertips.
Is there a car designer named Horatio?
There is actually. Horatio Pagani. He's pretty legendary.
That's what's up.
Matt B. Davis wants to know what's with the background.
So the background is just because I had I'd been doing Facebook Lives. I started a 30-day Facebook Live challenge a couple months ago that I didn't know I was going to love it so much, but being on Facebook Live is like one of my favorite things. Just having people tune in and pop in and say hi. Like just like wave at you every once in a while.
Yeah, exactly.
So like last night, for instance, I did a Facebook Live where just like impromptu, I posted a status. I was like, hey, if I went live and asked 3 questions, would you split screen with me and let me interview you about 3 quick questions? And I ended up having 5 different people that all said yes, and I just brought them onto my Facebook Live show, and we just chatted about 3 different questions, talk about gratefulness, anxiety, and nervousness, and some favorite quotes. And at one point we had like 15 people that were just hanging out with us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's like one of my favorite things and kind of the whole point that I want to get on. The reason I want to get on Facebook Live and do these types of interviews and finish the step that I'm currently focused on right now in order to get myself to the point where I can do mostly just interviews and stuff like that.
Oh, I just went so much taller.
Yeah, that's cool. I'm up too, man. Fancy.
But yeah, sorry, I totally.
So now we're messing
interrupted
with our chair seats, our chair height.
Yes.
Too much coffee. We said we were going to do this, by the way. We would drink too much coffee.
I already finished my cup almost.
Oh goodness, I got it.
But so you were talking a little bit ago about doing these Facebook Lives and how like there was this challenge of doing a Facebook Live like every day.
Yeah, 30 days.
What's the deal with that? Because like, I mean, some people would be like, you know, Facebook Lives are kind of annoying sometimes. It's just people trying to like show off their cool life, or like, oh, I'm live at the zoo. Look at this gorilla. Or, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
but that sounds great. I'm not at the zoo, and I would love, if you were ever at the zoo, Facebook Live viewers, and you see a gorilla, please go live and tag me in it. I would love to see a live gorilla.
Yeah, seriously.
So
live gorillas are dope.
What I would say is, for that particular instance, go live. But if you're doing the thing where it's like, hey, look at my super fancy watch and my super fancy car.
Yeah,
and
Tai Lopez style.
And then click the link in the first comment.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're doing it every day where you're always going live and you're always trying to sell something the whole time, it's kind of lame.
Yeah,
right?
I totally feel you. I feel like you're getting so many more like reactions on yours, and mine's just like
no, you got a couple comments.
No, I got some comments, but there's nothing like, there's no like raindrop effect.
Yeah,
I'm feeling left out here.
So usually I ask, I say, hey people, give me some likes, hearts, and loves. Like it, love it, share it, and tag a friend who cares. Wait. Likes, loves, and shares. Tag a friend who cares.
Oh,
that's the line.
Oh, snap.
I've said that
so
before.
I'm new to all this Facebook Live stuff, but I'm definitely really big into
I did it 30 days in a row.
Yeah,
remember?
Which is cool. but you know what's interesting? Actually, when Periscope first came out, I went not all in on Periscope, but I did actually go do a lot of Periscopes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if I talked about this with you before.
We did.
We did talk about this, right? And I would like play games. It was really fun. And
no, totally. And I did a little periscoping too in my time. So when I had first gotten into it, it was Michael Hyatt is a guy who talks about his platform, your online platform, how to kind of build up all that stuff. He talked a lot about Periscope, and so I used to get on when I was like first getting started with the whole entrepreneur thing, and I had a blog called "It's All About the Journey." And I would just talk about, you know, what it takes to get started, how to maintain momentum, and all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was on Periscope a lot for that.
That's awesome. And so, like, Periscope and Facebook Live, I feel like are huge platforms right now because obviously Facebook wants people to go live more.
Yeah.
Because they're really trying to sell that as like a big part of their platform. So like in the algorithm, they're like literally anytime you go live, like they're literally sending notifications to your friends like, yo, Owen Lutz is live now, join the party.
Yeah.
But like if you post a status, unless you're like favorited or whatever on as like a favorite friend, it's not like Facebook is going out of their way like, yo, Owen Lutz just posted a fire status.
No, but they do start to do that. So Facebook's algorithm works very similar to the human brain. Where the things you focus on, you'll see more
That's
of.
very true.
Right? Mm-hmm. So depending on...
No wonder I see so much death on my face. No, I'm just kidding.
What? You're always scared? Are you just scared of death?
I'm just kidding. No, I was just saying, like, if people are posting... What's up, Luke Crawford?
No way! Mr. Crawford! Wait, no, Luke, go watch my live. My live is way cooler than Andrew's live.
Oh, snap. Battle of the Lives.
I have had, you know, I do have one more viewer on mine, 4 versus 3.
Wow.
So I would say that I'm like one person cooler than you.
But Luke Crawford was on an episode of my podcast, episode like 13 or something like that. So definitely go check that out. It was actually, for a while, it was like your podcast and Luke's podcast were the 2 most popular ones.
Well, Luke and I are actually the 2 most popular people on the face of the planet.
That's
so I
arguable.
totally get it. So all I'm saying is, if we're going to be talking about Luke Crawford, then we've got to talk about Peachtree Corners. Luke Crawford and Peachtree Corners go hand in hand. Mm-hmm. You can't take the Peachtree Corners out of Luke Crawford, and you can't take Luke Crawford out of Peachtree Corners. I'll tell you guys right now, Luke Crawford he's got the best in mind all the time. He's a great
Luke
dude.
Crawford is running for public office. Oh, his algorithm showed me before Owen.
Have you guys talked recently on Facebook?
Not like super recently. I shared his post when he said that he was running for public office in Peachtree Corners. So That might have been it. But
that might have been
yeah, so if you live in Peachtree Corners, vote for Luke Crawford for is it I think it's what is it, city council or something like that? I'm not entirely sure what it is. Some kind of public office where Luke Crawford.
I say president. I say let's vote Luke Crawford as president.
President of Peachtree Corners and the United States.
And the United States. And the world. President of the world. Luke Crawford, president of the world.
Exactly.
I trust him.
But I was going to say, so like Facebook Live, going back to that for a second, like I was reading in a book, okay, Luke Crawford for Peachtree Corners City Council Post 4. There we go. That's what it is. So if you live in Peachtree Corners, vote Luke Crawford.
Yeah, Luke Crawford for sure.
He's an awesome dude. If you want to know what he stands for, you can go check out his Facebook page, and you can listen to our podcast.
And if you need to find him right now, well, no,
he's on Facebook right now.
Go to Andrew's Live. He's in the comments on Andrew's Live.
He is indeed. But so Facebook Live.
Yep.
One big thing that I think people don't realize about Facebook Live is that since it does vote shower toga, I like it. Facebook Live, like I said, it kind of promotes yourself to other people on your Facebook. So it automatically is like making you relevant in everyone's feeds.
Yep.
And one thing that I've always kind of known this and thought about this idea, but hadn't had a good way of like putting it out. I was reading the 10X rule. I've been reading it. My friend Heidi gave me that book.
Heidi Klum?
Heidi Uzelac, who is also on the podcast. If you want to go listen to that episode, it's awesome.
Episode,
I don't know. I've lost track now that there's like 40 something. I think it was 29. I think it was 29.
Losing track of nothing.
But Heidi gave me that book, and I've been reading it. And one of the things that he said is like most of the time when you create a new product or something like that, like for example, Cressa Peterson with the shower toga, an awesome product where you can shower in public without having fear of exposing yourself. It's an amazing product. But if you create something like the shower toga and you just put it on Kickstarter and you don't promote it or anything, it's not that your product isn't good, but you just get lost in the sea of obscurity.
Yep.
And so if you're an awesome person and you have a lot of personality and people value what you have to say, but you never actually showcase what you're saying or go on live streams or put out a podcast or anything like that, then it's not that you don't have anything valuable to say, it's just that you are literally lost in the sea of obscurity because there's just so much content.
Yep.
Which is, crazy.
It is.
And especially nowadays, it's all about the eyeballs. Like wherever the eyeballs are, that's what you need, where you need to be. People are on Facebook all the time and watching videos and all that, and people might not sit down and watch this whole live feed in one sitting.
They might.
If they've got the time or if they're eating breakfast or whatever, they might be watching us right now. But they might go back and watch this later, or they might say, okay, I like where this is going. I'm going to go listen to the podcast later or whatever it is. But the fact is, I've put that content out there into the world, and now people can absorb it.
Yep.
And I think that's super important.
Yep. So,
what's up, Dez? Dez, I need to have you on my podcast soon, man. I've been meaning to hit you up.
Oh, yeah.
We need to talk today. I'll give you a call after this podcast.
That's so cool. Mm-hmm. So the whole idea of the eyeballs thing, where you got to go where the eyeballs are or bring the eyeballs to you, is the same way Donald Trump became president.
That's pretty accurate, I feel like.
Yeah, totally, Mr. Fraser. Live is definitely better than recording a video and then putting it on Facebook, just because of that. They really do. Haven't you seen those tiny little pictures that pop up in the corner that say, "Hey, this person's live"?
Yeah, and I like
when that happens, people click on it.
I also like it how now you can continue scrolling through Facebook while the video plays.
Yeah, totally.
At least on the desktop, the video will play on the side while you keep scrolling through Facebook.
Yep, totally.
It's kind of like watching TV and scrolling through Twitter or something.
Yep.
But cool. so elaborate on that for me, because I think people they're like, oh well, Donald Trump came from money, all this stuff, but like you're saying, it's all because he was able to attract the eyeballs.
Yeah, totally. So all he did for his entire campaign was get everybody to look at him the entire time. He just would say the things that everyone thought was ridiculous. He would go meet with people that everybody thought was ridiculous. He would, he'd mostly just say ridiculous things so that every media outlet everywhere would always be talking about him.
He hijacked the media.
Completely hijacked the media, completely hijacked everybody's attention, and then he got them all and put them all in a big pot. And he said, all right, everybody. And then once everybody was looking at him and talking about him all the time, he just started stirring the pot. He started getting more and more ridiculous, and and the more he did that, the more people were thrilled to talk about it. I know that's one of the ways I I mean, I had so much engagement during the entire, on my Facebook from
the election season.
Just because I was meeting, like, I would just meet entrepreneurs that, like, wouldn't have any chance of actually connecting with me other than that they had posted something that was, like, anti-Donald Trump, and I got to stand out of the crowd just saying something ridiculous because I recognize that that's kind of how it works. You just say ridiculous things, and then people start to listen, and then you can be like, okay, no, it's all right. The ridiculous thing I said, it's kind of ridiculous. I get it. But at least we're talking.
That was like me on Facebook this morning with my post that I was talking about.
Yeah, that's
if you're watching my live stream, go sound off on the post I made earlier because I'm curious as to everyone's thoughts here. I don't think we need to elaborate on it on this podcast because I don't want to make Owen permanently attached to that subject.
I appreciate that. But yeah, click over to Andrew Deitch's podcast.
So if you go over to my personal Facebook page and you're watching this live, you can go sound off on that post because I'm pretty sure I started a miniature shitstorm of comments.
And
yes, hey, my dad's watching.
Yeah, Cressa, you should definitely do that.
Yes, Cressa, you definitely should do live for Shower Toga.
You should go take it out in public and record yourself doing it.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Live on Facebook.
Like when
you can shower in public live on Facebook and it's straight.
And another thing is, like, there's so many markets. Like, we've talked about this before. She is really into, like, OCR races, obstacle course races.
Oh, awesome.
My friend Connor, I had him on the podcast. That's actually his mom. Chris is his mom, and she created this awesome product. Because when they were at these obstacle course mud run races, afterwards, you're, like, so muddy, but then you want to, like, go out to eat or something afterwards, right?
Yeah.
And you can't because you got to go home and shower.
Yeah.
Because you can't shower properly in public. But this product is actually awesome. So
that's
like
brilliant.
OCR races, music festivals,
if
you're just running out in the park or something and you want to do something afterwards, like there's so many uses. So she should definitely be like, after a run, go live and show how you're literally using the shower toga. That would be super awesome.
Seriously, go run around downtown. I'll do it with you. It'll be great. Not that I want to shower with you.
But you can shower in public without fear of being exposed. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I'll shower near you.
There we go. I actually have a shower toga. It's awesome.
Really?
I got one. Yeah, I supported her Kickstarter. Her Kickstarter got fully funded.
No way.
Yeah, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say something else, but something really exciting is coming that might be off the record. So I'm not going to risk.
Off the record.
I'm not going to risk saying
it'll be off the hook.
Off the hook.
Off of it. That's so cool.
She said she's going to do it. That's awesome. Cool. Well, seriously, so like Facebook Live, when you started doing these Facebook Lives, like how much did that help your social awareness, I guess, and like people realizing like, oh shit, like Owen's actually like up to something, you know?
Yeah, totally. I have, there's a 30-day Facebook Live challenge that my buddy Sean Manaher was the one who like originally started doing it. And, just like immediately, like even the first time I went live, I had,
what did you do?
People. I just got on there and I was just, day one was just, hey, this is day one of a 30-day Facebook Live challenge. And then I just said, I have no idea what I'm doing. So if you want to talk about something, comment below and we'll try and do it. I did not have a fancy wall. Now I've got a fancy wall for my Facebook living. Mostly because I've got a lot of
this
cool
wall
things.
Is sick, right?
It is. It's pretty cool. I'm excited about it.
If you're listening to the podcast and you're not watching this live, you definitely are missing out on the wall.
Yeah.
But if you watch Owen's lives, then you'll see the wall.
Yeah, just come hang out with me on Facebook Live. It'll be great. Toga toilet. What? John, get out of here. Don't even know what that means.
Get out of here, John.
Get out of here, John. All right, so...
But what did Facebook Lives do for you as far as like awareness and all that?
People are aware.
Of just
me now. People like... so I did a Facebook Live yesterday, I already talked about, where I brought a couple of random people on. And seriously, like 5 or 6 random people reached out to me afterwards and was like, oh, and that was awesome.
That's
you should
awesome,
definitely do that. And I was like, what? Okay. Thank you so much. That's the only reason I do it, because the whole point is that talking to humans about how they overcame obstacles or decided they wanted to do something and reinforce that idea, and the habits, the tricks, the tips, everything that they have that can allure to how they got from point A to point B is easily shareable in conversation. And so my plan, your plan, everyone's plan is to try and help people right now. That's the millennials' goal is they just want to help people, and I don't think it's going to be long before like the whole world is happy all at once.
That's a lofty goal, sir.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Everyone be happy.
All at one time. The entirety of the planet. All smiling. All at once. Could you imagine?
That'd be amazing.
It would be amazing.
Well, I like that idea because you have like this concept that's just ingrained in your brain of like, there's no shortage of success or happiness.
Yeah.
Like there is no reason why everyone could not be successful or happy. There's people that believe that in order to have an upper class, there has to be a lower class. But with a rising tide, it raises all ships, right? So if you have the lower class down here and the high class up here, if you can raise the status of the lower class even higher, like if people are not living in poverty and they can actually provide for the family, that's just raising the tide of everyone. Like imagine like the ocean rising, all the ships are gonna rise. Some ships are bigger than others, but the ships that are even small, they're still gonna go up. And like, I was talking about this just yesterday with my friend Sarah on episode 41 of the podcast.
So cool.
So if you're watching this live on Facebook, it's not out yet. Sarah was in the live feed earlier. But me and Sarah were talking about how like life and money is all about providing value, right? And the
PVF.
amount of value was PVF.
Provide value first.
Ooh, I like that. Provide value first.
Yeah. Oh my.
So everything you should be doing, you should be focused on providing value, right? Because if you're not providing value to anyone, no one gives a shit, right? Like if you're not providing value, like right now, people are, if anything, hopefully entertained by our conversation here. But when you provide value, you can either provide a lot of value to a few people, or you can provide a little bit of value to tons of people. And either of those two things, you can earn a hefty income.
And if you do them both, then you're set.
Very, very true.
So figure out a way to get on Facebook Live, and that always kind of irks me when people talk about value. Just a little bit, just because it's like, what even? It's like provide value.
What is value?
After a long enough time of hearing that, eventually you think like, well, what is that? It doesn't even mean anything. But then it's like, well, no, but the whole point is that you just try to. You try to provide value. If you can think of, and in order to do that, you have to think of who you're talking to, what it is they're after, what that value looks like, and then you can give it to them. But if people are always out there without actually asking anybody else questions first, they end up just talking nonsense to a wall because nobody wants to listen to this value that they're giving out to nobody in particular.
Yeah. You know what I was just thinking of? Like, there's a lot of people out there that definitely are like looking for a job or looking for an opportunity out there. Those people should be hopping on Facebook Live and just riffing. And like even talking about like, yo, I'm looking for a better job. Like if anyone out there is like, like I have these skills, blah, 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 blah. And just like talking on live and having conversations with people, bringing people on, that would be huge. Obviously, another thing is being like the skill of being able to talk to a camera and talk on a microphone. It's different than having a conversation in some ways, but in a lot of ways, if you're just talking to the camera, it's kind of a little bit more challenging because it's just you.
Well, but the only thing that's making it challenging is you.
Of course.
I mean, there's really nothing else to it other than that you are just talking. It's still taking ideas and throwing them out your mouth.
Totally.
And so it's definitely just you that's in the way, and that's pretty funny. You find out that the way you approach obstacles determine how difficult that obstacle will be to overcome.
Ooh, man. I like that.
It's intense.
So most of the time you're in your own way.
Almost all of the time we're in our way. Every time that we think that there's like this huge thing that like we'll never be able to get past, it's really not that huge of a thing. It's really probably just the way we're thinking about it, and the stories that we tell ourselves about that thing after it happens makes it either easier or harder to overcome depending on the story itself, but the next time we see it. So each time you go to some obstacle, you need to make sure that you're telling yourself a good story about what happened in the past and like how it led to better things for the future.
I like that. That's very fascinating. Because a lot of people don't realize that they're in their own way too.
Oh yeah, but you are.
They want to make excuses, but excuses are like buttholes. Everyone has one and they all stink. And
it's true.
It's very true though. If you can eliminate, like if there's an obstacle in your way, like let's say well, I'm not rich because X. Like, I'm not rich because I don't have money to get started.
Why? Ask yourself why. After any of those, I'm not rich because of this, or I don't have this because of this. Ask yourself why that because of is there. 5 times. And you'll find out that it almost always boils down to you being like afraid of something, or you being the thing that was stopping you. Like, I'm not rich because I don't have these types of personal connections. Why not? I don't have those type of personal connections because I haven't done the work to go do it. Why not? I haven't done the work to go do it because I find pleasure in procrastination. Why do you find pleasure in procrastination? Because you had everything you needed when you were a little kid, so you never had to actually do the stuff. And then you find out that it's really just insecurity, thinking that I'm going to fail. Oh, gosh. It's too real.
Yeah. And, like, another thing that is typically standing in people's way, especially when they say they don't have the right connections, is because a connection is all about attraction, right? You can only connect with someone if you're both mutually attracted to each other, not in like a sexual way. Sometimes. But in the case of me and Owen, for example, I'm not sexually attracted to Owen. Maybe a little bit.
Hey, you get out of here. You get out of here.
No, but, like, we have similar interests and personalities, totally. And even though we've known each other for a long time, it could have been easily that we drifted apart, just like a lot of other people in my life that I'm not friends with anymore, that I knew when I first met Owen, that I haven't talked to in 10 years. But because I have tried to craft myself into someone that I would want to hang out with, or I'm trying to every day, I'm trying to do that, then hopefully I will attract the types of people that I would want to be around. And one thing, like, to be completely honest, like, Owen, you had like a huge shift like a few years ago, I would say, when you kind of made this transition into like success and entrepreneurial ventures and all that kind of stuff. And like, I feel like before we weren't really as close of friends because like our priorities were slightly in different places. Not saying that I was holier than thou or whatever, because I've had messed up
messed up personality disorder? Is that what you're going to say?
No, messed up, what was the word I just said? Priorities. I've had messed up priorities as well, and I still do. Like, I would say Owen now probably has like a much more rigid like morning schedule than I do.
Oh, for sure.
And but today, I actually, in honor of our podcast today, I tried to have a very rigid morning schedule. I did my meditation.
Good.
I did my 10 minutes of reading.
Awesome. What'd you read?
10X Rule.
Cool.
I did my stretching.
Awesome.
And I just had my coffee with you.
Oh, man, that's so nice.
Yeah, so what's up, Ivy?
Hirsch?
Podcast.
Oh, no way. I love Hirsch,
What's up, Ivy?
And David Labar. David, what? You're on the wrong live, man.
Dude. Oh, snap.
Get over here to my live, bro.
But what I was going to say is I feel like people, they'll say like, oh, I don't have those right connections. It's like, well, are the people that you want to be attracted to, are you the type of person that they would actually want to hang out with? Like, if you're like a lazy slob and you have a dirty room and you're like, not really doing much with your life and you flipping burgers or whatever, not to say that that's...
you can do that.
If that's what you really want to do, cool.
Yeah.
But if those things are what you're doing and you want to be friends with successful, rich, people who are adventurous, out doing cool stuff, then you probably have to go out and do those types of things as well.
Oh, totally. So it comes down to knowing a couple of key things. Who you are and where you're going.
Self-awareness.
Self-awareness. If you know who you are right now and you know the type of person that you want to become, then you'll, that will build the path for how you do the things every day that you need to do in order to be the person that would attract the people that you want in your life. And so then if that's one version of doing it, then you need to know that's one side of it. You need to know who you are now and who you want to be and how you're going to bridge the gap. But then you also need to know who you want to hang out with. So you need to create what Russell Brunson, who's a digital marketer I follow for a long time, says that there's the Dream 100. You pick the 100 people that you want to connect with, the 100 people that you want to work closely with, that you want to do something with, and write it down and kind of analyze all of them. What do they have in common? What kind of person do they want to hang out with? What kind of things would get their attention? All that kind of stuff. Find out what they actually want, what would bring them value, And then that also fits into the puzzle of where you are now and where you want to go, because by the time you get to where you want to go, you would have had to connect with those 100 people to have helped you get to there. So then how are you going to build the habits in your life that will allow you to improve on things day in and day out to get to where you want to go?
I like that. I like
Dream
that a lot.
100. It's all about knowing a couple things. So comes down to market research. Jordan Landwehr, you can't leave my live and go to his live, man.
I'm stealing them.
Stealing my lives.
I'm stealing the live stream.
Well, second, I want to
No. Oh,
I
snap.
just invited Jordan.
Invite him.
I just invited Jordan onto this. I'm not sure if he's going to join Andrew. That'd be super
It's okay.
funny.
We're hanging out here.
Yeah, we are. It's great.
No, but it is true. Like what you're saying, the 100 people that you are interacting with on a daily basis, you have the choice over that.
Yep.
100%.
No, totally. So then that goes down to what I call the 3 entrepreneurial laws.
What are they?
They're very fascinating. Hey, comment on the Facebook Lives if you want to know what the 3 entrepreneurial laws are.
I was gonna say
I'll
also,
tell you all about
have you ever heard of Jordan Peterson?
Jordan Peterson?
He's like a clinical psychologist, and he's gotten a lot of like attention recently because of all this. Oh, what up, Jordan?
No way. Jordan Landwehr is on our live with us.
He's cleaning some dishes.
Guys, I feel like this was a really bad time for me to join. I feel like I just kind of saw what you're talking about. I was eating my oatmeal, about to get started going, and then I feel like this is a really bad time to join, but I'm glad that I did.
No, man. It's always a great time. It's always a great time if you're joining us, Jordan. Thanks for hanging out, man.
Okay, I appreciate that.
So how's it going? How's things?
Dude, things are really well. Monday, it's Wednesday. My schedule's a little wacky now. Monday and Wednesday are now my days where I don't have anything going on till 5.
Nice.
Right? So, sleep in till like 9, get up, took my dog on a little walk, and I'm about to go do a couple errands and go to the skate park. You know, do some me
Rock
time
on, dude.
today. Okay?
That's good stuff, man.
You know, I'm a weekend warrior in the sense I work all weekend and a couple other days. So Monday and Wednesday are my days to do my shit.
I love that, man. That's good stuff.
That's what we're talking about. Just, you know,
Oh, he brought
set
a
up
dog
a
with
nice,
him.
set up a little freshie. So pretty excited.
Nice. Rock on. Fresh board.
Big things are happening today. So
Sounds like it.
There we go. That's awesome, dude. It's important to have those days for yourself too, because like people get way too worked up.
yeah, I was working 5 days a week and taking a couple classes, and then I've had my dog is 6 years old now, so obviously she needs plenty of time. And then I'm like, well, all the other time I was just like wanting to sit on the couch, and I was like, damn, how do I do all of my shit and then still do more shit, you know? But like,
It's a
and then I was like, I don't think I'm eating healthy enough or like sleeping enough, so I was trying to like kind of lock those. Because then I was like busy, so I'm like, oh, I'm gonna swing by Wendy's, and then you eat Wendy's, and you're like, damn, like why am I eating Wendy's right now? Like I should, you know?
Yeah.
All that stuff you guys know. So
yeah.
that's what I'm doing. I'm just out here trying to get better, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, it's something.
Frankly, Jordan, I think that is perfect timing. That's exactly what we're talking about the entire time. Is that everybody on the planet is all dealing with the exact same stupid shit. We all have way too much going on, and we all need to recognize that all you can do is what you can do. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Just do the stuff you can.
We have way too much going on, and then I was like, wait. If I compare my scenario to someone else, it's like they would laugh at me and be like, dude, you're stressed out right now because you're working 5 days a week and you're in school and you have to take care of a dog, like you don't have kids or like you aren't bankrupt or so, you know what I mean? It's like, then I was like, damn, so I need to stop feeling bad for myself when I'm not doing anything and make it okay to be doing nothing and like go do something, whether it's just skateboarding, because sometimes I'll be like, I don't even want to go skateboard right now.
This guy.
I don't want to do anything. And I'm like, nah, like, dude, just go skateboard. It's going to be fun. You're going to get better. This, you know, just all the little things. And then it's like that kind of.
And it's important to have like hobbies and stuff too, because a lot of people lose that when they get older.
I agree.
Yep.
They totally lose that.
I was
Like,
just saying that the other day. It was actually kind of, I might have been doing it in a rude manner. I was kind of like making fun of people. But it was like, when you get old, you stop doing shit you like to do. Doing things you like to do, and then you just, I don't know, I know so many people who just get drunk all the time, and I'm like, you don't want to like continue to like, you don't have to play sports or like whatever, but have something to get better at.
Yeah, totally. So one of the things that cracks me up is people talk about procrastination, and you were just saying it's something that I was talking about on my live yesterday, which is productive procrastination.
Oh, it's so easy.
Yeah, right. So, but as soon as you start procrastinating, to go do something that's a good thing for you to do, something you know that you will enjoy doing, even if you don't want to do it right now. So for you, with skateboarding, I've gone and I've ridden my skateboard around, or I go play guitar or something. Just something that is outside of just scrolling through Facebook and sinking deeper into the couch.
I got locked into that for a while. You know what helps me, and would probably maybe even help you, Andrew, maybe you as well, but I don't know how well you know my dad. My dad is the nicest dude, but he used to be a pretty scary guy, I feel like. Mm-hmm. And he would say, do it now. And that was it. It's not like metaphorical or like very deep. It's like, do it now. And it's like, hey, what's up? Like, what are we doing? We're doing
Yeah, I'm going to go do it.
Exactly. I feel like
it used to be scary, but now to me it's like it's just so simple and motivating.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of times, like, if I'm letting myself down, I'm gonna like not do it as quickly. But if someone else is like telling me like, yo, get your ass up or something, like for example, if my car is in the driveway and like blocking someone in the driveway, and they knock on my door like, yo, can you move your car so I can get out for work? I'm like, oh, right away, sir. Like, getting up, moving the car. But if no one did that, I'd be still sitting in my bed like scrolling through Facebook for like an hour before I actually wake up and do things. But then I'm like, oh, sweet, I'm already like up and in my car. Might as well like, go on a walk or something.
With that is like, how hard are you on yourself, and then how, like, where's the right level of like being hard on yourself and not being too hard on yourself? You know what I mean? Because you're like, well, this is okay because I did all this yesterday, so I'm gonna do this for a little bit, or like, nah, dude, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of like you gotta be hard on yourself, but then at the same time, it's like you gotta have a nice balance.
Yeah, so you need to be hard on yourself in the right way, and that boils down to the questions that you're asking yourself. So I was just talking to my wife and my mother-in-law about this today, about how
Your
it's like
mother-in-law was my 6th grade teacher, but continue.
Yeah, it's true. She was also my 6th grade teacher.
That,
Me too. It's like my favorite thing ever, man. I married the teacher's daughter. It's so cool.
Awesome. Sorry.
You're good. So we were talking about.
You were talking to Amy's mom about something?
Yeah, I was.
And you don't remember?
No, it was good. It was So when you do get anxious, and nervous about what's like all the different things you need to be doing, it's not that you need to not think about those things at all. You just need to think about them in the right light. So then you need to ask yourself the right question. So it's like, what am I missing about this thing that I'm so nervous about, that if I had a good grasp of it, I wouldn't be so nervous anymore? What am I missing that would allow me to
positive with yourself?
Yeah. So it's okay to remind yourself of the shit that sucks, as long as you do it in the right light and you're trying to think about it in a way that you'll get past it.
Let it beat you down, and then not do it at all, and then you're still scrolling through Facebook or whatever it is.
Yep.
That's a big one for me. Scrolling through Facebook.
So I was on Facebook. Well, I get the little notifications, and I'm normally free for your live zone, but recently I've been busy doing stuff.
I haven't done as many.
I'm like in class, and I'm like, damn, I'd rather listen to Owen than my American government teacher. But
right. That's so awesome, Jordan. I appreciate that. But no, I haven't been doing it as much as. I guess. Yeah, I haven't been doing as much as I should. I've only done like one a week for the last like 3 weeks. I'll get back there. I've been focusing.
I need to start doing more Facebook Lives. I feel like this is legit.
I love it. I've been laser focused these days.
I like it. I think people, like, once you do it more too, people just, not that I do it myself, but I think people like the idea of it more once you do it more. You know what I mean? At first they're like, what's Owen doing on like Facebook Live? And I obviously watch them because, haven't even seen you. I'm like, damn, I like what he's saying. Like, he's talking about relevant stuff, and I think some people might, reject it at first, but the more you do it, the more the people who aren't already open to it are going to become more open to it, probably.
Exactly.
So if you're doing your podcast saying, Andrew, I think you might as well, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
For the people who don't know you now, like, you know what I mean? Like, I only know you as, like, a 16-year-old, so I'm like...
So awesome.
What does Andrew have to say on a podcast? You know what I mean? So it's like, I know who Owen is now just from Facebook Live because I don't see him anymore, and there's a handful of people like me that you know what I mean, that don't know you now, or just knew who you were. Not that was bad, but you know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
We have said on a podcast as 16-year-olds.
Exactly.
So cool.
And like a weird thing that I've been talking about recently is like how much of you is actually you from the past, because so much of who you were actually literally dies. Like some of your brain cells literally
every 7 years,
and your brain chemistry totally changes. So the person that you are now could literally be only like 5% of the person that you were 10 years ago or whatever. I mean, that might be an exaggeration.
Yeah, definitely.
But your brain chemistry literally changes. It's actually pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, and especially like you're just always changing, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Change is good, man.
Don't be a tree.
Sick. Hey, I'm glad I hopped on here.
I'm glad you did too, man.
I don't even know where I hopped in. I just sat down and was eating my breakfast, if you will, and then I was like, I'm gonna see what's up, and then it was like, you want to join? And I was like, duh, I just finished some yogurt. Yeah, I'm ready.
I like it.
I walked, everything's turning. I was ready, but I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah, man, do it. You're the man, Jordan. Thanks for stopping by, dude.
Dude, thanks for being on the show.
What,
man.
Ethan? Dude, what are you doing? Now. Why is everyone going to his live, man?
They're popping in here because they see Jordan.
Yeah, totally.
I don't
Jordan.
know if it was the same one or not, but I'm trying to come home for 10 days in December, so maybe we could actually,
hang out, man. Yeah, go skateboard.
Yeah, absolutely.
That would be a blast.
That'd be tight.
Toy like a tiger.
With the rest of your convo.
All right, cool. Talk to you soon, buddy.
Amigos. I never know how to end this thing.
Okay.
I got you.
Get out of here. Jordan.
There we go. Dude, that was fun.
That was fun, man. I told you, this Facebook Live thing is like my favorite. You
I
can
like
just hang
Facebook
out
Live.
on Facebook Live and...
I'm curious as to how the podcast will turn out later, but I think it'll be
Chris
awesome.
Calhoun?
Apparently.
What's up, Chris? Long time no see, dude.
Dude, I think a lot of these people also popping because they see I tagged you in the thing. Because it's like Owen Lutz is live with this person or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. But okay,
crazy.
So we have 15 minutes to talk.
Sweet. 15 minutes.
15 more minutes.
Love it.
You're
awesome, Jake.
Let's go speed round. I've got some topics that I want to talk
round.
about.
All
okay, so
let me get the chi going.
Topic.
I'm not sure if you guys know about chi, but that's a real thing.
Okay,
apparently.
so sound off, and we'll go. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be super speed round, but we'll just like change topics really fast because I think this is interesting.
Rock and roll speed
Number
round.
1, Elon Musk, back in like April or March, was talking about this system that he's trying to develop called Neuralink, which is basically a connection device or implant or something that would connect your brain with an interface of the internet. So instead of having to know facts, you literally have all of the knowledge of the internet in your brain at all times. You don't have to know, oh, who is that person? Your brain can scan the person's face and know instantly who it is. You don't have to know dates or years. You automatically know everything. What are your thoughts on that? And will you implement Neuralink?
No, I might not. I won't be a beta tester for Neuralink.
No. I don't think you would be invited to be a beta tester for Neuralink.
I'd take over the world. Everybody would be happy all the time. I would project myself into people's
Live 24/7. You'd
Yeah.
just be a 24/7 Owen Lutz show.
Yeah, it probably would be if I was able to just record everything I was doing all the time and post it live. I would.
Showering, bathroom.
Yeah, definitely. I would. Oh man. And
but seriously, but even just out of you, like, how would that affect the world? Because obviously, then, like, is school still a thing? Like,
no,
how do we? But you're not learning. you're only learning like facts and
So, yeah,
like
it would not-
things, but you wouldn't necessarily learn how to function as a human. Like I think there would be some sort
A
of
different school would change then. It would be all about the interpersonal skills, the soft skills, if you will.
Oh, I love that. Soft.
Yeah, the soft skills. So seriously, I've got a couple of friends from Scott Oldford to, I don't even know, all sorts of people that I know. Scott's always talking about his plan is to be one of those people that becomes part artificial intelligence.
Ooh.
He sees that as like the next evolution of man, is that
Totally.
we use this artificial intelligence to get to the next stage of evolution, which will make us an interplanetary species.
We're some sort of digital caterpillar that's going to evolve into some kind of other butterfly or something weird.
Well, no, I just think that, we are going to have all that information and everything, and eventually we'll be able to be part human, part robot that will be able to travel through space and
My
shit.
favorite thing would be, I don't know if we'd be able to travel through space, but kind of, because we'd
Well,
be like...
it would make it
My
easier.
favorite thing I think about all that would be able to speak every language.
That would be pretty cool, but have you seen the little thing that you can go do that, speak language?
Yeah, there's one that now sits in your ear, and it'll, in real time, it's like a 4 or 5 second delay, and it will, like someone speaking in Japanese, it'll listen, kind of like what you have voice dictation on your phone. Wow. And if it's in a different language, you download a package, like, so let's say you're going to Japan,
Download the
and you
Japan
download the Japan package onto it, and like 4 or 5 seconds later after someone talks to you, it'll say it back to you in English, which is
Wow.
insane. And that's a real product.
Wow.
Yeah, I
pretty
don't,
cool.
you can look it up.
Yeah, so I think for the sake of the lightning round, I would say that it's bonkers AF to be even involved in that kind of industry, but it's exciting to think that there are people that are testing that kind of thing out to see if it is possible to mesh life and AI.
I like it. I'm actually supposed to have a lady who runs a VR, AR mixed reality company on the podcast soon, so I'm going to definitely
cool.
talk to her about that.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
I'm
Neuralink,
super
huh?
stoked on that. Second topic, owning versus renting.
Owning versus renting. So that's part of the man's game, maybe.
Owning versus renting.
Good one.
Sorry, that was lame.
So lame. No, that's all right. No, so I'm afraid that might be part of the man's game to get, because you end up spending more on renting and stuff. But because I know like Grant Cardone is like always telling everybody to like go rent. He's like, no, don't buy a house, don't buy stuff, rent, because that dude wants to own everything. He wants to be the one that owns everything, and he wants you paying his bills. He wants you to rent
But
from him, right?
Here's
or
the
does
thing,
he
though.
actually does he actually care about
okay,
us?
let's say let's say money is no object, rent or own.
Own. Money's no object.
Okay,
It'll be in perfect condition, and I'll always be able to go back and say what's up, bring people, let other people go
that's
there.
true. Okay, let's say you have $10 million, rent or own.
Well, considering I feel as though I could take $10 million and turn it into money forever, then I would, probably still own. I think I want to own just because
It's yours, and you can be
and
like...
it's freaking planet Earth. We're talking about buying a chunk of Earth.
but are you really buying it, Owen?
No. That's okay.
What belongs to the Earth is the Earth's. I'm not going to go all hippie on you, but
No.
I agree with what you're saying.
It would be cool to have my own chunk of land that I got to look over and be like, I actually own this bit.
Yeah.
But
My thing
don't really know.
is, I think what I want to do is like own my normal stuff and then rent all my fun. So like I don't want to like own a yacht or like own anything like super crazy.
Yeah.
Because it's just like a giant money
Yeah.
pit. Like if I'm going to do a yacht thing, I'm going to like charter a yacht for however long I want to.
Oh,
but like
yeah,
I don't
totally.
necessarily want to own it and be
Totally.
responsible for it and all
I
that
hear
stuff.
that.
Yeah, but
I think property is a little bit different than like a house I would like to own. But when it comes to the rest of the kind of stuff, I don't really need it for a certain amount of time, then I'll rent.
I've been really into this idea about like not having material possessions recently. I don't know what it is. Because
Minimalism,
on one hand, I like want everything, and then on the other hand, I also don't want to be burdened with anything. Like I'm like I love shoes, so I'm like I want every pair of Nike Flyknit trainers. But then on the other hand, I'm like, but then I've got to have like space in my closet, and then if I want to like go spontaneously to Thailand. I can't bring them all with me, so what am I going to do? Just leave them there? Like, and then just waste money on a storage of something that I don't really need. So it's like if I want the shoes, I can buy them, wear them, and then donate them or give them away or whatever. Or
true, you could do all those things.
Renting shoes is not a thing, but
should be.
It should be. That'd be interesting.
Schuber.
Multi-million-dollar idea. Going from 0 to 1, taking something from nothing to something.
Yes.
We kind of touched on this with the Facebook Live thing, because you got to bring awareness to yourself, right? But like, you kind of are a person that went from 0 to 1. How did you take, you were working a normal job and take it to a viable company that you were, making money with, and then sold, and now you're doing other stuff?
Yeah. So I would say that I was never actually at 0. I have been blessed with a ridiculously awesome family. I'm the youngest of 7 children. My father's a very wise man, and so when very wise men have 6 children to train them before the last one, I think he did a pretty awesome job raising me and explaining to me all the stuff that he had learned over the years, raising all the children before me, so that like I was already at like 0.8, man. You know what I mean? Like I was already so close with the connections that my family members already have. So then this actually kind of goes back to something we were saying a little bit earlier, talking about like how to get started. And when you were saying with the shower toga, for her to get on and be like, hey, who do you know? Like you were saying on Facebook Live to try and get a job. Get on there and just say, hey, I'm on Facebook Live. I'm interested in getting a job in this industry. Do you know anybody who does that? There's people out there that would be like, oh, I actually was just talking to somebody yesterday. Let me tag them in this post. Or whatever. There's people that are willing to help. And this going from 0 to 1.
But if you never put that out there, people don't even know you're looking for a job. They're probably thinking like, oh, Andrew's doing his own thing. Or newsflash, they're not thinking about you at all. Because you're irrelevant. You're obscure. Yeah. You're not even in their radar at all. So if you at least go on Facebook Live, then they have that spark. They see that little notification. They might jump in, and they're like, oh yeah, Andrew, he's a cool guy. Oh, he's looking for a job? Oh,
I can help him out with a job for sure. So that's kind of going from 0 to 1 is all about recognizing that you're actually not at 0. That's the first step of going 0 to 1. Recognizing you're not at 0, and then finding out what resources you currently have that make it that you're not at 0. So for me, it was my personal network, it was my family's network, and it was the things that I had learned growing up about how to stay persistent on things, and that the definition of insanity is to do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Those types of things that I've learned that my father drilled into my brain every single day was the reason I was able to go from 0 to 1, and to go from spending my last $700 on a bunch of cleaning equipment to having completely made back my investment within 14 days, and then to have a consistently profitable business for the next year and a half after that I was then able to move on from, and now I move into new things. And so that going from 0 to 1, the initial time I got any of those first few clients was only from reaching out to friends and family and saying, hey, who do you know that might be looking for a cleaning? And they said, oh, I'd talk to this person. Or they posted something for me, or they, whatever.
Gotcha. So leveraging your personal network was a big huge part of that.
That's 0 to 1. If you're going 0 to 1, if you feel as though you have nothing, first thing is to recognize that you have things, you're not at 0. And then to decide exactly what 1 is. For me, it was starting and running my own business. That's what I wanted to do. I knew that I could. I just had to figure out what it was going to be and how I was going to do it. So I recognized, well, if that's what 1 is, where am I now? It's certainly not 0. 0 would be, just woke up from a coma and absolutely nobody's around. I have no money in the hospital, kicked me out on the street with an $80,000 bill.
Well, that's kind of negative, but...
Okay, well, yeah, gotcha.
But that's 0. But
that's basically 0,
You're
right?
at nothing.
You're at nothing. You got nothing right then. You can't go get any credit. You know what I mean? That might be 0 if you... But then again, it's still not 0 because you have everything. You have the ability to walk. You have the ability to talk. Maybe you don't. Maybe you can't talk. Maybe you can only write things down, but you could write something down. Even if you don't have the ability to write something down, you can learn it.
And even if you don't have like a phone, you could go to like the library or the Apple store and use their computers or whatever.
Yeah.
And
you're never, especially in America, you're pretty much never at zero. So that's the first step. Recognizing you're not at zero, deciding what one is, and then you leveraging your personal network is kind of what's gonna help you get there in the early stages.
I love
but
that.
then getting from 1 to 10 is another story.
Exactly. But I think going from that, okay, I've got this thing in my brain that's not tangible, I want to start a cleaning company, to actually having a cleaning company, that's what I would consider going from 0 to 1. Because you start off with something in your brain,
Well, in that case,
it's just potential.
In that case, there's a 3-step process to go from 0 to 1.
Is that the 3-step process you were going to talk about earlier?
Well, no, that's different. That's the 3 entrepreneurial laws.
Okay, well, let's do both of them really fast because we didn't talk about
Beautiful. 3 entrepreneurial laws first, because the third one is the 3-step success process. The first
full circle
entrepreneurial law is the law of association. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So whether that is one-on-one hanging out, or it is reading content or watching content from people, whoever you let into your brain, into the neurological pathways of your mind, whoever you let in there, you become like them because you subconsciously think that being like them will allow you to be better, as if they're better than you, because that's kind of how humans all think, is we think that everyone's better than us. We're always harshing on ourselves, and we don't see that others are in their own rooms harshing on themselves. So recognizing that is a big deal. So that's the law of association. Is the first entrepreneurial law, is that you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Number two is the law of attraction. So the law of attraction is skewed in many media by the idea that it
didn't work for me, bro.
It didn't work for me. It didn't happen.
I didn't get a Ferrari, bro.
Yeah, it's the whole idea. Yeah, it might not even be like 100% accurate, but the idea is that, and what I learned from it, and why I think it's an entrepreneurial law, is that the idea is that you're attracting the things, you'll be able to recognize new opportunities based on the things that you want. So if you decide that you want these things and you're reinforcing them every day, if you're doing this stuff, this law of attraction kind of helps you do those things. But in order to make the law of attraction work, all it will attract is opportunities, because there are opportunities everywhere. So the law of attraction is merely being able to recognize the new opportunities that are already there. And in order to do so, you need to decide what it is that you want. That will allow you to attract those new opportunities, aka recognize them.
Yeah, and you've got to reverse engineer like what you actually want, and then figure out what the first step is to getting there.
So then that comes down to the success process, which is the third entrepreneurial law, which is that if you follow these 3 steps continuously and in a loop, you'll get to wherever it is you want. You decide what you want and you write it down. That takes it from an intangible thought to a physical thing that makes it real. It's ink on paper. You decide what you want and write it down. And then step 2 is to reinforce that idea every day with a positive attitude. So that's to learn meditation, to learn and to train your brain to redirect itself after it gets distracted, to bring it back to the breath. That type of reinforcement and
working out your brain.
That's getting control of your emotions, your reactions, and then using that stuff to intentionally propel yourself to where you want to be, that reinforcement of that decision you made previously. And then step 3 is to act on all the new opportunities that will then seem as if they're attracted to you, but they are already there. It's just you being able to recognize them because 1, you made the decision, 2, you reinforce that decision, and then you recognize the opportunity, which allow you to do the step 3, which is to act on those new opportunities.
I always think of the movie Yes Man. Like Yes Man, when he says yes to every opportunity.
Yep.
Like I've been trying to do that a lot more, which has been a little bit of a hindrance to my uploading of podcasts because I've been like so busy like just doing stuff this week.
Yep.
But it was awesome because now I have stuff to talk about and I have more experiences that I share with my friends.
Yep.
And a lot of the things I was doing were active things like going to the Ninja Quest gym with my buddy Connor.
Nice.
Or, you know, going up to see the solar eclipse up in Raven, Georgia.
Did you?
Yeah, it was dope.
I bet.
Like, and you know, all those types of things that are like experiences that are positively helping me because number 1, I'm hanging out with cool people that I enjoy hanging out with and people that I want to be attracted to, and also I'm doing cool things, meaning I'm living life to the fullest,
Getting those
which is very
experiences.
important. happiness, all that stuff. Because if I'm just uploading podcasts and I have nothing to talk about and I don't have any cool experiences, then what do I have? But just
do it.
Say yes to opportunities. Like, there's opportunities all the time, but people either turn them down because they say it's going to take too long, or they're too lazy.
Get in their own way.
And they get in their own way.
And they get in their own way. Because seriously, that's what happens is you see these opportunities, you may recognize them, and you may not recognize it as an opportunity, but you may recognize it as an obstacle, as something in the way between you and that thing. So then it goes back to the just idea of being able to take your obstacles and break them down using the right questions. Asking yourself, okay, I can't, break this thing open with an axe. It's like, I don't know, there's a giant rock in front of me. I can't bust it to bits. I don't have any dynamite. How do I either go around it, under it, or over it? I can't go through it. What do I do? That's the thought. You can't just get stuck in these.
There we go.
Don't get stuck by your obstacles. Find a way around them.
Ethan knows what's up. Get out of your way.
Get out of your own way.
Owen, we need to wrap things up.
Hey, look, Austin finally decided to join us. Look at that. What's happening?
Austin Distal. Yo, Austin Distal. If you want to hear more, you can go listen to Austin and I's podcast. I think it was episode 12 or something.
Ha, I was episode 10. Suck it.
All right, that is all we have for episode 42.
Oh man, that was
of the Andrew Deitch podcast. 42, everybody. This is groundbreaking stuff. But any last words, Owen? Where can people find you?
Yep. Well, right here. On my Facebook is where I spend my time.
And you're just Owen Lutz.
Yeah, Owen Lutz
on Facebook.
Yep.
That's your main. That's your bread and butter.
I got a Facebook group that is not super active at the moment.
I'll jump in there.
Yeah,
and I'll say what's up.
Yeah, cool. Austin or Andrew's gonna join me. I think Austin might be in there already. But it's called Owen Lutz's group. How's that for niche? Because you see all these entrepreneurial Facebook groups that all have their different subsect of entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And I decided mine was gonna be the most niche. It's the Owen Lutz niche. You don't get more niche than that.
I love it. Yeah. Well, I have a secret Facebook group only.
Go find it.
Only reserved for guests of the Andrew Deitch podcast. But
there's
who knows?
42 of us in there.
Who knows? You might
any other
get
repeat guests?
lucky. Only one so far.
Sweet.
So you're the second repeat guest.
I'm the second repeat guest.
But
I'll take it.
I was going to say, and eventually I'm going to open up that Facebook group to everybody who wants to be in it. But for right now, I'm trying to cultivate a cool little group of people we were all on the Andrew Deitch podcast together.
That's really cool stuff, man.
Hopefully everyone in there kind of shares some ideas and stuff. But anything else?
Yeah, last bit. You're the pilot of your own life.
Wow. That was amazing. All right. Bye, everybody.
Have a good week.
There you have it, folks. Another episode in the books. I want to thank Owen again for being on the podcast. Make sure you follow him on Facebook. Who knows? You may be featured on one of his Facebook Live broadcasts, just like Jordan was. You never know what could happen. But seriously, that was a really good one. Owen dropped a lot of little knowledge bombs in this episode, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. But holy crap, everybody. Episode 43 is going to be one you won't want to miss. I had the pleasure of having Sean Henry on the podcast. And now you may not know who he is, but Sean is a huge car guy, and he runs a company called Stored that he founded 2 years ago. They raised $250,000 in funding, and Inc.com named them top 30 emerging companies of 2017. Now, you may be picturing this wealthy 30 or 40-something-year-old in your head, but I'm about to shatter all that right now by dropping this on you. He is actually only 20 years old, and he is currently a student at Georgia Tech University. Yeah, that's right. This man does it all, and if you've ever thought you were truly busy and have no time to run a side business on top of what you're already doing, then Sean will be the first to prove you wrong. He's an absolute workaholic, and to be honest, I don't know how he manages to do it all, but needless to say, I had an awesome conversation with him, and I have to say it was one of my absolute favorite podcasts so far. That episode will be launching very soon, so be on the lookout for that in the next couple of days. Now, if you want to support the podcast, There's a couple ways to do that. Number one would be to share this episode with a friend. If you like Owen, you like what he was talking about, and you think some of your friends might appreciate it too, don't be afraid to send this podcast their way. Obviously, word of mouth is one of the biggest ways that this podcast gets shared around. So please do not hesitate to share my podcast with your friends. And also, we're on iTunes, and a big part of staying on iTunes and staying relevant there is to rate this podcast 5 stars and give me a review in there. Now, you might not feel like that's very important, but iTunes actually is one of the best places where people discover new podcasts. So if you can support me there, that'll help me get this podcast out to more people and ultimately bring more value to other people's lives. So if you want to help me do that, leaving a review on iTunes is really, really helpful. And I really am trying to get into the new and noteworthy section in there, so that will really help as well. If you want to follow me and ask me questions or keep up with my life or whatever, you can go to andrewdeitsch.com. That's Andrew, DEITSCH.com. And I have links to all my social media accounts and all that kind of stuff there. And you can look at all the other podcasts that I have on my website as well. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you're listening to the sound of my voice right now, I truly appreciate you. You guys are the bomb. You keep me encouraged to do what I do, and I will keep on trying to have awesome conversations with the most interesting people I can find. I hope you're finding value in the show. I know I am. But I will talk to you guys in the next one. See you later, everybody.